At 74, Mary's son thought she had finally hired someone to clean her house. He was wrong. When he walked into her kitchen one afternoon, he looked around and asked, "Mom, how do you keep everything so neat without spending all day cleaning?" Mary laughed. Because just a few months earlier, her home had looked completely different. Papers collected on the counters. Dishes seemed to multiply overnight. Small piles appeared on chairs, tables, and kitchen surfaces. Cleaning had become exhausting, and the more tired Mary became, the harder it was to catch up. Then, she stopped trying to clean everything at once. Instead, she created 6 tiny routines that fit into her normal day. Some took 5 minutes, some took less than 3, and one took only a few minutes each week. Together, they changed the way her entire home felt. Mary wasn't cleaning harder. She was making sure the mess never had enough time to become overwhelming. And the best part is that none of these routines require a perfect home, expensive products, or hours of energy. If keeping your home tidy after 60 has started feeling like a full-time job, stay with me. The first routine takes just 5 minutes, and it may be the easiest one to start tomorrow morning. Routine 1. The 5-minute morning reset. Every morning used to begin the same way for Mary. She'd walk into the kitchen and immediately notice everything that was out of place. Last night's cup, opened mail, a few dishes, things that belonged somewhere else. Before she even made coffee, she already felt behind. Then she created a simple rule. 5 minutes. That's all. Right after waking up, Mary sets a timer and does what she calls her morning reset. She doesn't clean the whole kitchen. She doesn't vacuum. She doesn't organize cabinets. She simply looks around and handles the small things that are already in front of her. A cup goes back to the kitchen. Mail goes into its proper place. A jacket gets hung up. Something that belongs in another room goes into a small basket. And she follows one important rule. Touch it once. If she can put something away in a few seconds, she does it immediately. If something needs more attention, it goes into a small basket to deal with later. When the 5 minutes are over, she stops. Even if there are still things left. That's important. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is to prevent yesterday's clutter from becoming today's problem. After a couple of weeks, Mary noticed something surprising. Her mornings felt calmer. She could make breakfast without first clearing a counter. She wasn't starting every day with the feeling that her house was already demanding something from her. And that small change affected her mood. Instead of spending the first hour reacting to clutter, she started the day feeling in control. If you want to try one routine from this entire video, start here. Tomorrow morning, set a timer for 5 minutes. Touch things once. Put away what you can. Stop when the timer rings. That's enough. Routine 2. The evening reset walk. The second routine sounds almost too simple, but Mary says it changed her evenings more than she expected. Around 7 o'clock, she takes a slow walk through the main areas of her home. She carries a small basket. She's not doing a deep clean. She's not scrubbing floors. She's simply returning today's things to where they belong. A magazine goes back to the shelf. A sweater goes into the bedroom. A glass goes into the kitchen. A pair of shoes goes back near the door. She only deals with what was used that day. That's the important part. Mary stopped thinking, "I need to clean my house." Instead, she asks herself, "What did I use today that needs to be reset?" That question is much easier to answer, and it prevents a small amount of daily clutter from turning into a weekend project. The entire walk usually takes less than 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes 5. Sometimes she doesn't finish every room. That's fine. She simply resets the areas she actually used. This routine also gives Mary a gentle reason to move around in the evening, instead of sitting for hours and then facing a messy house the next morning. And there's another benefit. She ends her day seeing her home at its best. Not perfect, just reset. That small difference matters. When you wake up the next morning, you're not starting with yesterday's mess. You're starting fresh. Routine 3. The one-touch paper rule. Paper clutter is one of the easiest types of clutter to underestimate. A single envelope doesn't look like a problem. Neither does one receipt or one magazine. But then another arrives, and another. Before long, the kitchen counter becomes the place where everything waits. Mary had exactly that problem. Bills were mixed with letters. Important forms were buried under advertisements. and there was always a pile labeled in her mind, "I'll deal with this later." Then she changed one rule. Every piece of paper gets handled once. When mail comes into the house, Mary immediately puts it into one of 4 simple categories: something that needs action, something that needs to be paid or signed, something important that needs to be stored, or something that can be recycled. Magazines and newsletters get their own small spot if she actually plans to read them. Everything else leaves the house. No growing paper pile. No moving the same envelope from one surface to another. No sorting the same documents 3 different times. The system isn't complicated. It simply removes the decision from later. And that's especially useful when you're trying to conserve energy. You don't want to spend Saturday afternoon dealing with papers that could have taken 2 minutes on Monday. Mary also discovered that her kitchen counters stayed noticeably clearer once paper stopped becoming a permanent resident. So if paper is one of your biggest clutter problems, don't try to organize everything today. Start with today's mail. Handle each piece once, then do the same thing tomorrow. Within a week, you'll have a very different system. Routine 4, the smart dish routine. Mary used to dread the kitchen sink. Not because washing one plate was difficult, because one plate became 3, 3 became 6, and by evening, the sink looked like a job she didn't have the energy to start. Her solution wasn't to scrub faster. She made the cleanup smaller. Mary now washes or rinses dishes soon after each meal, whenever she has the energy to do it. She doesn't let several meals pile up together. Before cooking, she also fills the sink or a small basin with warm, soapy water. As she finishes with utensils and lightweight cookware, they can soak instead of sitting dirty and drying out. That makes the final cleanup much easier. She also stopped keeping every dish and serving piece within easy reach. Her everyday dishes are accessible. The extras are stored away. That means fewer things sitting around the kitchen and fewer items that need to be moved just to reach something she actually uses. And when she cooks something that creates a lot of cleanup, she looks for the simplest option rather than automatically creating more work. The result wasn't a spotless kitchen every minute of the day. It was something more useful, a kitchen that never became completely overwhelming. That's the goal. If standing at the sink for a long time bothers your back, knees, or feet, don't wait until the dishes become a mountain. Break the work into smaller pieces. 1 meal, 1 short cleanup. Then you're done. Routine 5, the 10-item sweep. This is Mary's favorite routine because it gives her an immediate sense of accomplishment. She calls it the 10-item sweep. Once in the afternoon or evening, she walks through the main living areas with a small basket. Then she finds 10 things that aren't where they belong. A book, a sweater, a glass, a pair of shoes, a newspaper, a remote control, anything that simply wandered away from its home. She doesn't search for 20 things. She doesn't start organizing drawers. She doesn't suddenly decide to clean the entire room. 10 items. That's it. Why 10? Because 10 feels manageable. When a room looks messy, the thought of fixing everything can make you want to do nothing. 10 things feels different. It's a small target you can actually finish. And once those 10 things are gone, the room often looks noticeably better. Mary does this regularly, instead of waiting for clutter to become obvious. The effect adds up. Imagine returning just 10 misplaced items every day. That's thousands of small corrections over a year. And none of them require a Saturday cleaning marathon. This is also a good routine for days when your energy is low. If 10 feels like too much, do 5. The number isn't the point. The point is creating a small finish line. You can look around, choose a handful of things, put them away, and stop. That feeling of completion matters. It makes maintaining your home feel possible instead of overwhelming. Routine 6, the 15-minute focus spot. There was one mistake Mary used to make all the time. She saved everything for the weekend. Saturday meant cleaning. Sunday meant catching up. And by Monday, she was exhausted. Eventually, she realized something. Her house didn't need a marathon. It needed regular maintenance. So once a week, usually on Sunday, Mary chooses one small focus spot. Not a whole room. One spot. A drawer. One shelf. A section of the closet. The spice cabinet. A bathroom cupboard. She sets a timer for 15 minutes. Then she works only on that area. Things come out. The space gets wiped. Items are quickly sorted. Things that belong elsewhere are moved. Things she no longer uses are set aside for donation or disposal. Then the timer rings. She stops. Even if the area isn't perfect. This is one of the most important parts of the routine. Mary doesn't allow a 15-minute project to turn into a 2-hour cleaning session. The timer protects her energy. Next week, she chooses another small area. Then another. After a few months, all those neglected little spaces have received attention. That's how her home changed without exhausting her. Not through one giant cleaning day, through small, repeatable actions. And if you're worried that 15 minutes won't make enough difference, try taking a photo before you begin, then take another when the timer rings. The difference may be more noticeable than you expect. How it all comes together. 6 months after starting these routines, Mary's home wasn't perfect. It didn't need to be. What changed was how difficult it felt to maintain. She no longer spent entire weekends trying to catch up. Her kitchen counters stayed clearer. Paper stopped taking over the dining table. The living room rarely reached the point where she didn't know where to begin. And when her son visited, he noticed the difference immediately. But Mary noticed something more important. She had more energy. She wasn't constantly thinking about what needed to be cleaned. She wasn't embarrassed when someone stopped by unexpectedly, and she didn't feel like maintaining her home was a battle she had to fight every weekend. She had built a system around the energy she actually had. That's the part I want you to remember. A tidy home after 60 doesn't have to come from working harder. It can come from making the work smaller. Your challenge. Don't start all 6 routines tomorrow. Choose one. If mornings are the problem, try the 5-minute reset. If paper is taking over, use the one-touch rule. If your living room constantly collects random items, try the 10-item sweep. If you keep postponing bigger jobs, choose one 15-minute focus spot this Sunday. Give that one routine a week. Then decide whether it genuinely makes your life easier. If it does, keep it. If it doesn't, change it. Mary learned something important along the way. Missing a day doesn't mean you've failed. If she skips a routine because she's tired, busy, or simply doesn't feel like doing it, she doesn't punish herself by doubling the work the next day. She just starts again. That's what makes a routine sustainable. So which one would make the biggest difference in your home? The 5-minute morning reset? The paper rule? The 10-item sweep? Tell me in the comments. You might think your clutter problem is unique, but chances are someone watching this is dealing with exactly the same thing. And if this video helped you see that keeping a home tidy doesn't have to mean exhausting yourself, subscribe to Senior Decluttering Diaries. We focus on practical ways to make life after 60 simpler, lighter, and easier to manage. Mary didn't create a perfect home. She created a home that worked with her life, and you can do the same. You don't need more energy to keep your home tidy. You need a system that respects the energy you already have, one tiny routine at a time.